So I want to talk about 4 types of repetitive thinking that affect many autistic people and their experience. Hi, I'm Jade. I'm a private psychotherapist. I'm also diagnosed autistic, and I run a place called Planet Pure, a place where I help autistic people begin to understand themselves rather than blame themselves. So the reason that these types of thinking affect autistic people to a disproportionate or higher degree is hidden in 2 parts of the diagnostic criteria. So that is both fixed interests and repetitive and restrictive behaviours. That's how they word it, not me. And also, something else that I've noticed is that when I begin to talk about these things, they might use words like overthinking, rumination, perseveration, and OCD interchangeably, but they're not exactly the same thing. They can look similar, definitely, on the outside, because they do involve this kind of repetitive thinking, but the reason your brain is doing it might be completely different. So I wanted to break those down for you. So number 1, overthinking. The purpose of overthinking is that the brain is trying to predict the future and often reduce uncertainty. You're thinking about lots of different possibilities, trying to plan ahead and avoid making a wrong decision, basically. So an example of this might be, should I take that job? What if I regret it? What if there is a better option? Lots of what ifs. Number 2, rumination. So the purpose of rumination is that the brain is trying to make sense of emotional pain. It often very much circulates around emotional pain. So you'll be repeatedly thinking about something that has already happened and circling it repeatedly. There's often usually a focus on things like self-blame, regret, and a lot of circulating on the emotions that it caused you. So an example of this is something didn't go as expected, and you might be sat thinking, why do I always ruin things? Why can't I stop replaying this pain inside my head? Number 3, perseveration. And yes, I know that I'm probably not saying that correctly. There's a whole story on that. Anyway, the purpose of perseveration is your brain is trying to build a complete and a coherent understanding. So your brain gets stuck because something doesn't make sense, or it feels unresolved, or you don't have the complete picture yet. So it isn't necessarily driven by anxiety. It is often driven by a need to understand and find missing pieces of information or create an internal structure so something makes sense. So an example of this is that conversation just didn't add up. There's something missing, and I know there is, and I can't move on until I find that. But when I do find that, I can completely let it go. Number 4, OCD. So the purpose of OCD is that your brain is trying to protect you from a fear-based outcome by creating certainty through things like compulsions and rituals and thoughts. OCD often involves intrusive thoughts and behaviours and mental rituals that temporarily reduce anxiety. So again, a simplistic example of this is if I don't check that door again, somebody might break in. I might have to check it 3 times before my brain can settle. It gives a temporary relief to their anxiety. The most important difference for OCD is that logic does not stop OCD. I know many people have OCD, and it wouldn't matter how much information they have about how they know that the cycle repeats, they know that it is actually affecting their life really negatively. And even when they know that the fear is unlikely, the brain still demands certainty through the ritual.